about how to prepare for the examination and how you are going to modify it, because already you started your preparation, you are going to modify your preparation, how best you are going to use it. For that reason we call the expertise in science and technology as Sri Mutyam sir. He is from IIT Kharagpur and he is the director for civil services coaching also. So welcome sir. So today we are going to discuss about how we are going to prepare for the science and technology and how it plays a important role to aspirants get through from the prelims examination and also get maximum marks from mains examination, and finally they will achieve their goals. That is the first thing. So before that, when you see the previous papers from the last from 2013 to 2020, if you take the statistics, so here I am taking the statistics from the civil services, because first time the Telangana government is conducting the group 1 services examination. Previously undivided Andhra Pradesh is conducting group 1 services so many times, but this is after formation of Telangana new state. So this is the first time. So I am taking the support of civil services examination, how the questions are given and from the science and technology, and what is the weightage. If you observe all the weightage around 11%. So 11 from 2013 to 2020, so at least 11% of the questions from the science and technology. So means around 10 to 15. So it may be varies. So what's your opinion? So how this plays a very important role to score maximum marks? Can you give any suggestions from this one?
Yeah, thank you for having me here, sir. Yes, science and technology is some of the questions they ask are very simple questions they would ask.
Okay.
But there are certain questions which are very difficult to answer. So while preparing for your exam, we have to be very careful while attempting this science and technology questions. So generally in any exam, in any paper, they give these questions based on some should be answering most of the questions, easy questions, medium questions as well as difficult questions. In the same way, while preparing questions for this in this from the science and technology also, the examiner will do the same thing also. So what you need to do is, the moment science and technology means it is a little bit tough when it comes to the application point of view, sometimes they might be very difficult to answer questions. So such questions it is always better to leave those questions. Okay. But there are certain questions which are very easy to answer, there are straightforward answers that you will find. So such type of question you should be ready to answer those questions. And another thing that we have to understand is, so people think that science and technology means it is only B.Tech, it is only B.Tech students, science students would answer these questions.
Okay.
So that is a myth, that is not correct. Even science students, mathematics students, engineering students would also make mistakes. So these arts students or biology subject students should not be discouraged by this sort of things. Even biology also will, there are certain chapters from biology also.
Okay.
So what you need to do is, you need to prepare certain basic things like what is going on in the current events about, especially related to the science and technology. They will ask these questions, and most of the time they are very straightforward questions. So such type of questions you should not miss it at any cost. They are going to decide your rank, your qualification in the prelims exam. So that's what I would like to say.
Yeah. So very good. So actually science and technology, just now what is said, means it is not concerned to the technological aspect, means B.Tech students are what you call it as BA students will answer all these questions. No, it is not. The concept name is science and technology, but it covers the total branches of sciences, means basic principles, basic concepts of physics, maths, chemistry, biological science. So all these things they will ask it, and mostly they will ask different organizations like ISRO, DRDO, like these organizations also different achievements achieved by our India in various aspects like space technology, nanotechnology. So, like different kinds of the things generally they will ask in the examination. So feels that science and technology as an integrated manner, not purely a technological science, means a 5G, all these things, okay, that is okay. In the same time we have to discuss about, we have to practice about the space technology, nanotechnology, biotechnology. So, like so all branches of technology we have to learn. So, we have to follow the syllabi. So, you have to prepare, you have to make it as a point wise, then make a perfect notes and practice it. And when you see the questions in the examination, when you see from the paper from last to just now I said, I have verified from 2013 to up 2022 around 10 years papers. When you observe it, so it is not a straight question like academic question, because it is a competitive examination. They want to select a few very intelligent students who have good spontaneous response, and we have good analytical power, reasoning, logical thinking. All these qualities are very important. For that reason they will give the statements, first statement, second statement, third, in general 3 statements will be given. So they will give the question based on these 3 statements, whether first and second are correct, first, second, 3 all are correct, or neither first, second, third correct, like they will ask it. So there is no straight question in the examination. Am I correct?
Agreed. I think you have raised an important point, Suresh sir, is exactly you are right. So why they ask this kind of questions, like they give statements like 1, 2, 3 statements, and then they will give option A only 1 and 2, 2 and 3 like this, because they give this kind of things because they want to see to whatever that you have studied, to what extent you have studied, is there any clarity in your subject. Let me give you a simple example. Recently the government of India auctioned for 5G, as you are talking about, and they will ask questions about 5G, simple things like what is 5G, have you understood anything about 5G or not. Even any examiner would simply think like, okay, let me try to see, will a student understand what actually means 5G means, is he able to differentiate between 4G and 5G.
Yeah.
So this kind of things that examiner would actually think, okay, yeah, the students, I know the students cannot differentiate between 4G and 5G. So let me frame a sentence on 4G and 5G, difference between 4G and 5G, and then I will frame a question on, okay, option A, option B, like that I will put it, and then I will ask you to choose 1, 2, 3 like that. Okay. So this is a very important thing. If people when ask about 5G, is 5G is related to what? Is it related to a frequency? Is it related to what? So this kind of questions that you have to, this kind of information that you have to understand when you read about 5G. So in the same thing, recently we are talking about nuclear submarines. So the moment you talk about nuclear submarines, we should be able to understand what actually submarine is all about, why submarine is using nuclear power,
okay, what
made them to use this, and then we should understand how submarine works. If submarine works like this, then what are the different types of other energy sources are there. So like that we have to read that topic in a holistic manner, then you will be able to understand, then you will be able to answer the questions.
Yeah. So here I collected some expertise people opinion to how we are going to prepare, because already you started the preparation, then how we are going to prepare, what kind of books we are going to prepare, what kind of magazines we have to prepare, like I am going to discuss about. So here as on screen, just you will see that how to prepare for the science and technology syllabus for Tspsc. This is the question. It is a frequently asked question from all that one. So here based on the above questions, we can divide the questions categories from science and technology as basics of physics, chemistry, botany and zoology. Do not let these taxonomies intimate you, you are talking about class 6th to 10th. This is because generally they will ask the questions based on 6th to 10th of basic concepts, and most efficient way to cover the basics. Make sure that a bit bank has to be detailed explanation for each question. For this you have to prefer for NCERT class textbooks of 6th to 10th are easy to read with the pictorial representation. So, this is a I collected some information.
Can I add this to, this is exactly you need to do. Why we have to take NCERT 6th to 10th class is, most of this NCERT science subject, especially physics and chemistry related, even biology also, that is botany and zoology.
Yeah.
The syllabus, if you look at the syllabus of this SCRT, they are focused more on what actually is happening around our ourselves.
Okay.
So, what are the practically used concepts. So, if they discuss all about antacids in the SCRT book, one of the SCRT books they talk about antacids in chemistry.
Okay.
So, why they use, what is the carbonate acids, what are the carbonate acids, how these carbonate acids then will actually helpful in your antacids and all these things. So, what this you need to learn is, apart from this NCERT books, you have to learn things which you come across every day, like in physics you talk about LEDs. So, LEDs you have to learn what actually the LED is all about. If you talk about the current, you should learn basic things about the current. If you are talking about acceleration, force, so simply all you need, you do not have to mug up the formulas and do some calculations on this solve these physics problems. All you need to understand is how this force is is applied in the real life, how this Newton's laws are applied in a real life. So, these kind of things that you have to learn. In fact, if you ask me personally, you have to change this, radically change the way that you prepare. Yeah. If you read the newspaper regularly, you read the NCERT books and then you read the newspapers regularly. In the newspaper you come across different types of science and technology related terminology. You learn everything about the terminology, then you will learn most of this science and technology there itself.
Yeah, that is actually that is a very good thing you said, Mutyam sir, because in science terminology is very important. For example, if you want to say a projectile, the trajectory of the projectile is parabola, they will say it is. If the word is the trajectory of a projectile is a parabola, means here a trajectory we say that is called nothing but path of a projectile. So, that is very important. When any object is thrown, then it travels in a parabolic path. This is a simple way to say that, but in terms of the technical terms, so we will say the trajectory of the projectile is a parabola. So, the terminology is a very important. So, when the students were prepared for that, especially non-science background aspirants, so they have to, even science background people also they have to prepare, but these people give more efforts to know about the science and technology. And at the same time, NCERT, why the NCERT books? Because don't purchase the books guides which are available in the market, because they will simply dump the information in the books and they will increase the volumes of that one. But when you prepare for the NCERT, I will give a small example. So, when you go through the NCERT, see textbooks, optics, everyone knows that optics is one of the chapters from the light, everyone knows it. So, they will say a convex mirror is convergent and concave mirror is divergent. Simply a sentence will be there, but why the convex mirror is convergent and why concave mirror is divergent, the people does not understand it, but the question will comes based on the concept only. So, when the light ray incident on the convex mirror, because a convex mirror is made up with so many prisms. So, what is the main principle on the prism? When the light ray incident on a prism, it bends towards the base, So, because when you take it as a convex mirror, so all the bottoms of all the prisms are downwards. So, all downwards means all the rays are moves towards the base, means downwards only. They will concentrate at a particular point. So, it converges. Whereas in concave mirror, so the bases are in upwards. When the bases are upwards, as a property of light, when the light ray incident in it, it bends towards the base, means upwards. So, all are diversified. So, it is a divergent. So, the basic concept is very, very important.
Agreed. I would like to add one more. You have raised a very interesting thing, sir. Yes, same thing in while since he was talking about this lenses and all.
Yeah.
I got another thing that when if you want to learn science and technology, you should have that nature. Curiosity is the one thing which actually helps you to learn. You should think like a child. If you want to learn science and technology, you should think like a child. When a child goes to a car and asks, "Mummy, why, Daddy, why this mirror is like this?
Yeah.
What kind of mirror is this? What kind of mirror is that? What is the difference between that this mirror and that mirror? And why somebody is I am wearing a spectacles? Then what kind of spectacles are? Why they are wearing spectacles? What made this eye? What are the defects in the eyes? So what actually this spectacle is doing?" These are simple curious questions that so unfortunately our education system kills this curiousness, but if you are really curious enough to know this kind of things, you will learn science like anything. I will give you one more example. During this Ukraine and then Russia war, this newspapers, current affairs, they are using like so many terms like hypersonic missiles, this missile, that missile, air-to-air missiles and all these things. So, if you really curious enough, if you type what is air-to-air missile is, what is hypersonic missile is, how these hypersonic missiles are, why they are using, this kind of things would actually helps you to learn science and technology, especially the practical applications of this science and technology in a better way than, in fact, these BTech students or science students won't learn this like this. They actually learn differently. So, you do not have to, even the arts background students also do not have to feel some sort of a disadvantaged. Yes, sometimes they might understand certain things in a better way quickly, but they also do not know this kind of things. So, you have to learn, you have to practice, you have to be confident enough, and then you keep learning like this, then obviously you can crack this exam, you can crack this subject very easily.
Yeah. So, we have to prepare a particular notes, that is very, very important. So, do not take it as adapt from already prepared notes. Maybe you can take it as a support for that, but every aspirant has to prepare his own notes point wise. So, why I am saying this one is, so for example, if you say electricity, some are conductors, some are insulators and some are semiconductors. Why some are conductors and some are insulators? So, if you want to explain these things, we have to know that band theory, valency band and a conduction band. So, in each substance we have a valency band and as a conduction band. Between valency band and a conduction band, there is a Fermi energy gap. If the Fermi energy gap is more than 5 electron volts, so there is no possibility, either normal condition or abnormal condition, there is no possibility to convert as a sending or drive the electrons from one band to another band. So, there is no flow of current. So, that is the reason they are called insulators. But if it is around 1 electron volt, for example, the energy gap is around 1 electron volt, then so there is a possibility to drive the electrons from valency band to conduction band or conduction band to valency, means there is a flow of free electrons. So, it causes a current, means that is the reason it is called a semiconductor. Whereas a conductor means these two valency band conduction band are overlapped to each other, there is no energy gap. So, like for each and every one we have to prepare the notes, then there is a use. simply the questions are available in the market, take the book, some books are available in the market. So, we have, when you prepare, when you by heart those things, when recall and remember those things, there is no use of it. But when you prepare it, in how it is, what is the application, so what is the reason behind it, like when you discuss it, definitely it helps maybe. So, can you add those on this?
I completely agree with you, sir, on this aspect, because every student, every person got his own way of learning things.
Yeah.
The way you learn is different from the way I learn, the way I learn differently from others. So, all you need to do is you need to adapt your own learning methods.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you write some code language to understand certain things. So, you have to make your own things. Apart from having said this, learning from these others notes also will help you, so that sometimes what happens, you might miss it, or sometimes you might overlook it, or sometimes you do not know that you have to learn certain things. In such cases, learning from others notes or learning from them also, learning always helps, there is no doubt, but how much time you spend on certain things, what are the number of mark questions that are going to come, these are the things that you have to very carefully assess yourself, because ultimately marks are important, ultimately getting this job is more important than how you read it, what you read it, and all these things. For that, obviously you have to have. So, while he was talking about the semiconductor, I got another just I would like to add to that whatever I have said. Semiconductor, we were talking about the semiconductor. Recently there was a some sort of a skirmish between China and USA related to Taiwan.
Okay.
Why this kind of things, and what are the semiconductor? Taiwan is a leader in the semiconductor industries. So, if you try to if you learn about the relationship between this China, Taiwan and US, and that US dependence, in fact the global dependence on Taiwan on semiconductor related industries, you will actually understand the importance of this Taiwan in this. So, if while doing this, if you talk about the semiconductor, you should know like what is semiconductor is all about, how these semiconductors are actually, how this electronic industry is actually evolving, what are the chips. So, simple questions like what, when, where, how, these are the questions will actually help you. If you really ask questions like a child, you ask yourself while reading newspaper,
yeah,
and then you get answers for those. Your half of this preparation is over there itself.
Yeah, that's actually we have to concentrate in various areas, especially in science and technology. Just now I said not only the basics concepts of all these branches of sciences like physics, chemistry, biology, zoology, all these things, including this. So, different organizations, just now I said different organizations like ISRO, DRDO, space, all these things, defense. So, recently ISRO done a lot of things here. They may ask the question based on Chandrayaan, they may ask to
agreed, yes.
Yeah, they may ask recently we achieve a great achievement. So, we send 104 satellites at the same launching vehicle. So, like so many achievements from our India point of view. So, we have to prepare all those things, and what technology they are used. Recently government also coming to the 5G into the market. So, what is 5G also, and now, so the first thing is we have to prepare that about different organizations, that is ISRO, DRDO, space and defense also. So, recently different ballistic missiles also, Agni, like different kinds of things. Can you add something to about these organizations?
Yes, these are actually for science, and when you talk about the science and technology, especially in India, there are certain organizations which are at the top level in this ISRO, DRDO, these are the, and ICMR
yeah,
for this. these are the very plays a prominent role in the development of the science and technology in general, as well as science and technology in the country itself. So we can actually talk about during this COVID these things, how much it is ICMR, what ICMR has done, what are the research things that they have achieved, how this DRDO has achieved, what are the things that the DRDO achieved this year, prominent things that DRDO achieved, ISRO achieved. All these things will actually comes into, we have to learn obviously, since it is a science and technology means these organizations are very, very important. In fact, at least 2 to 3 questions comes from these organizations itself. If you go through the websites of these websites,
yeah, that's
you will get at least 2 to 3 questions from this from these websites itself, because at least something would be there related to the new happenings, new things, like as we are talking about that 104 satellites, all these things would be there in that website. It is always recommended. In fact, we should do this. You should do this regularly, what is happening, and we visit those websites, learn about those, every term that you actually come across in ISRO's website, you should know that. If they use like MOM, you should know what is MOM, what kind of technology is behind that MOM. All these things, if you know all these things, then obviously.
Yeah, recently our country crossed 2,200 crores vaccination completed for this COVID-19. So Covaxin, Covishield are like not only for the human being, even the vaccine is invented for animals also. So all these developments we have to discuss, because because it's a current thing here. So these questions may comes in the area of current affairs.
I agree, sir. I would like to add one more thing to that. So we were all talking about Sputnik, and then we are talking about Sputnik, and then we are talking about Covishield, Covaxin and all. I really called one of my friend to and asked them like what actually the difference between Covishield, Covaxin and Sputnik. I called one of my friend and asked them who are in this field, and asked them what is the difference, how the what is the production differences in the production methods. So if you learn this like this, then obviously you learn science and technology easily.
Yeah, that's very important, because so what is the difference between a Covaxin and Covishield, how they were prepared, which organization prepared. So all these are very important.
Yeah, I did this while taking vaccination. At that time I was asked like whether I should go with the Covishield or Covaxin or what. Then I was like, I asked like how these two are produced, what is the different methods, and how should go. I mean, like all these things I have considered while taking the vaccine.
Yeah.
So that is how I have learned science and technology. I am learning science and technology also regularly.
So yeah, so for this, so you have to prepare for the, you have to take the support of various journals like Manorama Yearbook, Pratyoga Darpan. So all these things are very, very important, and science and technology journals also very useful. And you have to see different YouTube things also. So means different YouTubes concerned to the science and technology, that will help us. So these are very, very important. So you have to prepare your notes, the first thing, and you have to see the different science and technology journals, and you have to noted the important things. That's a second thing. And the third one, you have to see various particular videos from YouTube, so different achievements and different new innovations, discoveries recently done in point of and science and technology. That's also very, very important. And our different organizations also did the different things. You have to recently nano urea, 𝗂𝗽 developed nano urea also. What is nano urea, how it is developed, all these things are covered in our regular sessions. So go through that and practice it, definitely it will help us. So the like any other suggestions from you? What kind of books are generous?
Yeah,
our aspirants
books
has to
are
prepare?
books are a very important thing that you don't have to lose yourself by taking too many books. You take one book, 2 books, 1-2 magazines, newspaper, 1 newspaper or 2 newspapers, depending on your capacity to read and your time that you are going to spend on science and technology, or in fact any other thing, and then you prepare. This Manorama yearbook is a very important. It's a good book. It's a too good book, and it gives most of the facts about this facts that happened in the science and technology. In fact, for the current affairs also, it's very important things.
Even Pratyogita
Darpan is also very useful one. Pratyogita Darpan, I mean, you can choose any magazine, because since it's a
and recently Yojana also
yes, they are government published books, so it's always recommended.
Yeah, and very important thing, you have to prepare, take the assistance of Telugu Academy books also. So it's actually, maybe it's an open secret to all means here. Okay, the paper setters will take the support of definitely Telugu Academy books.
Yeah, Telugu Academy books is a very those who are setting the question paper, it's easy for them to refer Telugu Academy books, because when you get a doubt like whether this answer is correct or not, what is the standard that they are going to take?
Yeah, that's very important.
Since it is a Telugu Academy is a standard textbook, so they will easily pick up things from them, so that there won't be any controversies in that. So everybody would refer to the Telugu Academy when it comes to the whether what is the standard for that particular, whether that question answer is correct or not for that particular question, or people would refer to the Telugu Academy itself. So I think it's the safest way for the those who are setting the question papers and those who are preparing for this exam also, taking that as a standard is a safest way. So I would recommend that.
Yeah, that's good, because take the support of Telugu Academy textbooks, but getting Telugu Academy textbooks also very difficult for us, because it's not available in the market.
Yeah, I heard that even the Telugu Academy is producing science and technology related books also for competitive exams.
Yes.
So that's really a good initiative by Telugu Academy.
So prepare, and even state syllabus textbooks also better to prepare, because NCERT textbooks is good. At the same time, state syllabus textbooks also you have to prepare. That gives the proper basics. So better to, instead of taking the material from the various coaching centers, that's okay, that's good. So could take the support of various coaching centers material, and take actually for each and everything there should be a standardized material is required. For standardized material, take the support of these books, means either Telugu Academy textbooks or NCERT textbooks, or our Telangana state
yeah, so as I was telling about that standard, what is the correct answer for a particular question, people either go for Telugu Academy or they go for SCERT standard textbooks. They are standard textbooks. That is why they are called standards.
Yeah.
So it's always safe. It is good to refer these books in the event of anything, any ambiguity is there about a particular answer. Then they would refer the SCERT textbooks and then these Telugu Academy textbooks itself. So for that, it's always good and it's recommended to read these standard textbooks, and there is no denial in that.
Okay. So here I am going to just any fast glance of how to prepare. Can you give it?
Yeah, as I was talking about, you choose 1 or 2 books
okay.
about science and technology. Then take SCERT, NCERT books, have a 1 or 2 readings about on these things.
Okay.
In fact, depending on you, whether if you are quick learner, 1 or 2 readings are good enough. If you want to read more, you can read that also, depending on how you assimilate that knowledge that is there in that. And then after that you make your own notes, you try to revise those notes regularly, and then whatever you have read in the science and technology books, and then you try to relate that to the current events that are happening in the regular current affairs in that particular last 1 year. Generally what happens when the exam is in October, it is always safe to read the last 1 year current affairs is a good thing. Current affairs in the sense like what actually about the technology. If somebody is using something, like you should know the technology behind that, you know science behind that particular event, that is more important, that you should learn. People will forget that. I am sure most of the people students can't answer what is the difference between 4G and 5G, because that is because we do not learn like that. We have whatever we have, it is there in this this newspaper, you try to read that, because that is called a linear, you know about this learning pedagogy and all, you are expert in that. So that is not the way to learn. You have to learn everything about that 5G. So then you actually you know, you will be better prepared for that. And apart from this, as you are mentioning, practice. You know, having learning things is not enough. You should also understand where you are, you know, how your preparation is going. So this thing, you know, you can do that based on your practice. So you have to practice the questions. You have to frame the questions on yourself, how the questions might come in the exam, and you frame your questions, and then you try to answer those questions, and then you answer you know, practice questions from various other you know, organizations, and then you keep practicing the questions that will actually test you, your level of preparation. That is very important thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here I am going to add some more with a conversation with you. Means here we have to prepare the pointers for the entire syllabus first. That is the first thing. So after verifying the total syllabi, you have to make the pointers, and you have to prepare a clear notes for each pointer. That is very important. And because so you have to keep both the things. So preparation for the prelims and preparation for the mains also same at the same time. So for then, so like you have to prepare the notes, you have to write more number of times for each one. And you suggested, that is an excellent suggestion, you have to prepare your own question on the concept after completion of the reading of the total concept. So the questions already there in the book, that is a different thing. We have to prepare what kind of questions we are expecting, we have to predict, because even in our school education system also we are giving one of the tool as a formative assessment, generating new questions. The reason is why this tool is given in the formative assessment means, if the children is in position to generate a new question, it shows that he understands the concept perfectly. So this you can apply the same even for the group 1 services preparation also. After completion of one concept, the aspirant is prepared to, is trying to prepare his own questions and answers. Then that will give some more clarity, what kind of questions, how the questions will come, that kind of things will be comes. And the second time, and more, they have to conduct different mock tests also. They have to collect the previous papers, and because the papers are available, so you can collect them different model papers, and you have to practice. Here the speed and accuracy also gives a vital role. Time management, that is also very important. So these things will be they can aspirant can understand, so where he is making mistakes and which areas he has to concentrate, like all these things will happen. That is a very important. So means conducting more number of tests. After completion of one concept, they have to take one examination on it. So when he achieve more than 80% or 90% in that particular concept, then okay, so his preparation is good. If it is less than 50%, means he has to prepare once again the total concept in a different strategy. Like when he plans his way of preparation, definitely it helps for the getting success. That's a very important.
Yeah, to that I would like to add one more thing, like whenever you start preparing for something, like let us say as we were discussing about defense. So when you are talking about the defense related chapter, if you want to prepare that, first before starting that preparation itself, we should have that clarity first. What kind of things that I should read, what kind of questions that they have asked in the previous things, what kind of things that are they might come in the next exam on this particular chapter. Why this kind of questions might come in the exam. So you just sit there and then you talk about this, then you will learn these things like this. So if you have that clarity over that objectivity in your preparation, then suddenly your preparation will be more effective. So every time you sit, at least if you are sitting for 1 hour session, what you need to do is, in this 1 hour, what you are going to learn, how this is going to help in your exam, whether it is prelims or it is mains. So what are the things that you need to learn on that? These things you should have before opening the book itself. So if you have that, then obviously you have that objectivity in learning things, you have clarity over what kind of thing that you expect from that book also.
Yeah. As per the learning pyramid, so teach to others plays a vital role, as everyone knows it, knowledge, understanding, application, and these are the different parts of Bloom's taxonomy and all these things. But when you take it as teach to others gives some more impact in the learning process. Even the learning curve also they are saying same. So teach to others is a very important thing. After completion of preparation of one thing, because generally for group 1 services or our civil service examination, some group discussion will be there, they will no one will study individually, they will take the support of their friends and who are
I really agree with that group discussion, and it's a very powerful tool to learn things, because every individual will have their own perspective and own way of looking at a particular subject. But the the important thing that you have to understand, when you sit with this for this group discussions, we actually, I have seen people like they argue and then they waste so much time in that. So that is to be very taken care while group discussions, means most of the group discussions, at least 70-80% of the group discussions end up with an argument if you sit with the that incompatible companions. All you need to do is you need to see that you have the right kind of people and who are focused only on the subject, not other your individual opinions, not who will win, who will lose this in the group discussions. So this kind, instead of that, I would recommend you teach that same thing to your 2-year-old kid, 3-year-old kid, whatever you have learned, that will also help you.
Yeah. So here now we collected a few questions. I am taking a 2022 UPSC examination prelims paper. So nearly there are 13 questions they are asked in the science and technology. So we are going to discuss so we are going to discuss those things here. So now before going to discuss the previous examination questions, one phone call is coming, so we will have to respond for it. So hello.
Hello sir, good morning sir.
Very good morning sir.
Sir, I am calling from Karimnagar sir. My name is Mohammad Yasin Ahmed.
Sir.
Sir, my doubt is sir, how I have to prepare for current affairs sir, what aspects we have to see and how we have to prepare for current affairs, at least 6 months back.
Okay.
That how we have to, what material we have to follow and which magazines or which newspapers like that, please guide me sir.
Sure, sure, definitely sir. Mutyam sir.
Yasin, this for current affairs and all, it's a very simple thing. You take any, last time we were also talking about that, you take any one leading Telugu newspaper, that if you are from Telugu medium background, If you are very much comfortable with English language, I would recommend you to take the Hindu paper. The Hindu paper covers the maximum 80-90% of the questions, if comes that is related to the science, current affairs, means that exactly sometimes they would have covered that topic in that newspaper, the Hindu newspaper. Having said this, these two things that you should do, and apart from that, you take any one magazine that that you feel like you are comfortable. Yeah, for magazines you can take, as we are talking about the 𝗳𝗦𝗔𝗧 𝗳𝗏, they are good, they are too good. So even state published magazine is also good for that matter. You take that magazine, you read that continuously, same thing, don't suppose in this month you have learned about you have purchased one magazine, and the next month you purchase another magazine. What happens in this? It might actually, you might end up either learning same thing in these two magazines, or ending up diversified things, so that it actually won't give you that kind of objectivity to that your preparation. All you need to do is take one magazine, have faith in that magazine, you choose that magazine based on your own any magazine, you read that magazine continuously, but provided you take that magazine which is some reputation is there in that, reputation in the market. So don't buy just by looking at the cover, attractive cover pages. Don't do that. Yeah. Sometimes attractive cover pages, or many people would do this book is good, that don't listen to others, listen to yourself, have that thing. You see old questions, whether those kind of old questions are covered in this or in this magazine or not. You try to understand that. Suppose I am talking about just now we are talking about the defense related things. If really, or we are talking about the Taiwan and China and then USA related things. If a good magazine covers all the questions that you raise, like what, when, where, how, if they really critically analyze that issue, you would understand that that thing. So based on that you can take this.
So I want to add some more, because so there is a collection, a good collection of current affairs things. GK Today is available in the websites. So when you go through that, it's a collection of monthly, day wise things. What happens, day wise also is given, monthly wise also information is given. That also helps you. And read the newspapers of editorial column. That's a very, very important. So editorial columns also very, very important. We have to concentrate on the editorial column, as you said. So take one paper continuously, but when you change different papers, different opinions, different things, so prepare before last 6 months things, and collect and make it as a chronological order, and divide it into different. It comes under science and technology, it comes under other, like you can prepare. Definitely it helps you.
Yeah. Okay. So for the last January onwards, you can use that.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm taking a last year paper. Yeah. So we have one more question, phone call. So first we have to respond it, sir. So good morning, sir. Please respond.
Hello, good morning, sir. Na peru Shivashankar.
Cheppandi Shivashankar garu.
సార్ నేను టీఎస్పీఎస్సీ గ్రూప్ 1 ప్రిలిమినరీకి ఇప్పుడే స్టార్ట్ చేశాను సార్ ప్రిపరేషన్.
ఓకే.
ఎలాగైనా ప్రిలిమినరీ క్లియర్ చేయాలని అనుకుంటున్నాను. మన టీసాట్ ఛానల్లో క్లాసెస్ వింటూ నోట్స్ రాసుకొని వాటిని రివిజన్ చేస్తూ బిట్స్ ఎక్కువ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేస్తే ఇది వర్కౌట్ అవుద్దా, లేక బుక్స్ ఖచ్చితంగా చదవమంటారా?
సార్ మన టీసాట్ అనేటువంటిది చాలా ఎక్స్పర్టైజ్ పీపుల్తో క్లాసెస్ టెలికాస్ట్ చేస్తున్నాం సార్. డెఫినెట్గా అవి మీకు హెల్ప్ అవుతాయి. అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం మీరు కూడా ఇప్పుడు మనం ఈ డిస్కషన్లో క్లియర్గా చెప్తున్నట్టు, జస్ట్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు ప్రిపేర్ అవర్ స్టేట్ సిలబస్ టెక్స్ట్ బుక్స్ ఫ్రమ్ 6th to 10th. ఇఫ్ యూ అవైలబుల్ ఎన్సీఆర్టీ టెక్స్ట్ బుక్స్ తీసుకోండి. అలాగే కొన్ని మ్యాగజైన్స్ కూడా మనం తీసుకోండి. మ్యాగజైన్స్ అనేటువంటిది ఇప్పుడు మనోరమ ఇయర్ బుక్ దొరుకుతుంది, అలాగే ప్రత్యేక దర్పణ్ బుక్ దొరుకుతుంది, యోజన మ్యాగజైన్స్ దొరుకుతాయి. ఈ మ్యాగజైన్స్ని కూడా తీసుకొని సెల్ఫ్గా నోట్స్ ప్రిపేర్ చేసుకొని ప్రిపేర్ అయితే డెఫినెట్లీ ప్రిలిమ్స్ అనేటువంటిది మీరు క్లియర్ చేసి మెయిన్స్ రాసే అవకాశం మీకు ఉంటుంది. కాబట్టి TSAT డెఫినెట్గా మీకు హెల్ప్ అవుతుంది, TSATలో టెలికాస్ట్ అవుతుంది, డెఫినెట్గా హెల్ప్ అవుతుంది. అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం వీటి సపోర్ట్ కూడా మీరు తీసుకుంటే దట్ విల్ హెల్ప్ యూ లాట్ టు క్వాలిఫై ఫ్రమ్ ద ప్రిలిమ్స్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్.
Yeah, I would like to add one more thing to that, Shivashankar. What you need to do is, see, exam is an offline exam. It's not an online exam.
Yeah.
So, since it is an offline exam, what you need to do is you have to read that entire paper within the stipulated time. If you want to do that, it is always recommended to have that reading skills. So, if you want to improve your reading skills, you must read textbooks, standard textbooks. That is a very important thing that you should do. This TSAT will certainly going to help you in the best possible way that I can assure from that. They are doing an excellent job. TSAT is doing an excellent job. TSAT will certainly help you in your it actually replaces the coaching, that I can say.
Yeah. So inko phone call vastundi sir, just I will receive. So hello
sir,
very good morning madam.
Sir, group 1 ki prepare avutunnanu. Science and technology ela prepare avali, academy saripotunda, next further ga practice papers em prepare cheyali, model papers gaani.
Okay, సో యాక్చువల్గా మనము ఈ TSATలో ఈ క్లాసెస్ టెలికాస్ట్ చేస్తున్నాం మేడం. డెఫినెట్గా ఆ క్లాసెస్ మీకు హైలీ సపోర్టివ్గా ఉంటాయి. అసలు ద బేసిక్ రీజన్ టు టెలికాస్ట్ ఆల్ ది సెషన్స్ అంటే ఎవరికైతే ఈ కోచింగ్స్ అనేటువంటి అవైలబిలిటీలో ఉండవు, ఫైనాన్షియల్గా కానీ లేకపోతే మీరు రిమోట్ ఏరియాలో ఉన్న వాళ్ళకి అసలు ఆ పాసిబిలిటీ ఉండదు, డెఫినెట్గా వాళ్ళందరికీ అందాలనే ఉద్దేశంతో TSAT క్లాసెస్ అనేటువంటి కండక్ట్ చేస్తున్నాం. అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం మీరు ప్రిపేర్ చేయవలసిన, మీరు ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వాలి అనుకునేటప్పుడు మనకు తెలుగు అకాడమీ బుక్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో ఆ తెలుగు అకాడమీ బుక్స్ని ఖచ్చితంగా మీరు ప్రిపేర్ కండి. అలాగే స్టేట్ సిలబస్ టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ ఫ్రమ్ 6th to 10thలో ఉన్నటువంటి ఈ మ్యాథ్స్, ఫిజిక్స్, బయాలజీ, కెమిస్ట్రీ అన్ని బుక్స్ కూడా ప్రిపేర్ కండి. అలాగే ఈ జర్నల్స్, డిఫరెంట్ జర్నల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, మీకు ఇప్పుడే చెప్పినట్టు యోజన అనేటువంటిది, యోజన కానీ లేకపోతే అదర్ ప్రత్యేక దర్పణ అనేది తీసుకున్న కానీ, మనోరమ ఇయర్ బుక్స్ కానీ వీటిని తీసుకొని మీరు సెల్ఫ్గా నోట్స్ ప్రిపేర్ చేసుకోండి. అలాగే ఈ న్యూస్ పేపర్స్లో వచ్చేటటువంటి ఏ ఒక్క కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ని కూడా చేసుకోండి. జస్ట్ నా మీకు ఈ ఇంటర్నెట్ సపోర్ట్ తీసుకుంటే జీకే టుడే అనేటువంటి దాంట్లో కూడా క్లియర్గా వాటిని ఎనాలిసిస్ ఇస్తున్నాడు. ప్రతి కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ని డేట్ వైజు, మంత్ వైజు, ఇయర్ వైజ్ కూడా ఇస్తున్నాడు. కాబట్టి వాటన్నిటిని ప్రిపేర్ చేసుకోండి, కేటగిరైజ్ చేసుకోండి. కేటగిరైజ్ చేసుకుని ఏ ఏరియాలో మన స్పేస్ టెక్నాలజీలో ఏమొస్తుంది, ఇస్రో సంబంధించిన క్వశ్చన్స్ ఏమొస్తాయి, ఇండియా అచీవ్మెంట్స్ ఏరియాలో ఏమొస్తాయి, ఇలా మీరు కేటగిరైజ్ చేసుకుని ఒక నోట్స్ ప్రిపేర్ చేసుకుని ప్రిపేర్ అయితే ఈజీగా మీరు స్కోర్ చేసే ఛాన్సెస్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటాయి. ఎందుకంటే సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీలో ఇఫ్ యూ సీ దట్ నియర్లీ 8 to 10 క్వశ్చన్స్ వస్తాయి పేపర్లో ఫ్రమ్ లాస్ట్ 10-15 years పేపర్స్ మనం అనాలిసిస్ చేస్తే. సో 8 to 10 ఈజీగా 8 to 10 స్కోర్ చేసేసుకొని యూ కెన్ ప్రిపేర్ ఫర్ జస్ట్ యూ కెన్ ఫర్ అదర్ క్వశ్చన్స్ బికాస్ ఇట్ సేవ్స్ యువర్ టైమ్. సో ఈ రకంగా మీరు ప్లాన్ చేసుకోండి, డెఫినెట్గా ఇట్ విల్ హెల్ప్ యూ. క్లియర్? ఓకే, యా. సో నౌ జస్ట్ మనం ఒక క్వశ్చన్ చూద్దాము. ఎలాంటి క్వశ్చన్ ఇచ్చారు స్క్రీన్ పైన, ఒక క్వశ్చన్ ఇచ్చారు ఇక్కడ, స్క్రీన్ చూడండి. కన్సిడర్ ద ఫాలోయింగ్ ఆరోగ్య సేతు, కోవిన్, 𝗳𝗏 The first one is Arogya Setu, second one is Kovin, third one is 𝗳𝗏, fourth one is 𝗳𝗏. Which of the above are built on top of open source digital platforms? This is the question. So there are 4. Then there is 4 options also given here. One is 1 and 2 only. Second one is 2, 3 and 4 only. Third one is 1, 3 and 4 only. The last one is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So which are open sources and in digital form? That's the question. Yeah.
So see, this is a question that every question contains certain critical words. So you need to understand those critical words. You should know those critical words first. So what are those critical words in this question? That you need to first, let's look into that. So, they are talking about 𝗳𝗧𝗺, that is a critical word. What is 𝗳𝗧𝗺? The very question, that answer that you should know. What is 𝗳𝗧𝗺? We all know 𝗳𝗧𝗺 is all about. And then there is another one is 𝗂𝗽𝗱. So, what is 𝗂𝗽𝗱? And then what is DigiLocker? What is Diksha? And there is another important critical word that is there is open source digital platform. So, this is another important thing. If you know what is open source digital platform, then you can answer. If you know those things, if you know that word, then you can answer this question. The answer is clearly given here, the 1, 2, 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So, the digital open source digital platform means it is an open source. Anyone can come and anyone can use that platform. So, if you are an Indian, you can actually use this 𝗂𝗽𝗚 website for vaccinations. If it is 𝗳𝗧𝗺 is also an open source platform. DigiLocker is also an open source platform where you can actually, the DigiLocker itself is it's saying that digital lock. So, you can keep all the your identity cards and your personal these things in this digital locker. And Diksha is related to the education, where you can learn, share knowledge there. You can actually receive knowledge from this Diksha website.
Yeah.
So, for that is the reason why we are calling these 4 as a open source digital platforms.
Yeah. So, means you have to know each and every one. So, it is not a very straight question, because once you know all these 4 exactly, then only you can say the answer. All these 4 are open source on digital platform. So, like the questions will come. So, anyway, thank you sir for giving a valuable information for our aspirants how to prepare and when to prepare and in which strategy they have to adapt, like all these things you explained very well. So, thank you very much on behalf of TSAT.
Thank you for having.
ఆరోగ్య మిత్ర. మహిళల్లో ఋతుక్రమ సమస్యలకు కారణమేమిటి? ఋతుక్రమ సమస్యలకు